jolly good.
Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clank Zoka, and welcome to another my. Oh, sorry, I had to burp a little bit there. Welcome to another my thoughts on. Excuse me. Today I'm going to be talking about Synecdoche, New York. This is the 2008 underrated drama by Charlie Kaufman, who you may know for Adaption, being John Malkovich. I think he wrote or directed that. He also did Anomalisa, which is this adult animated film which I absolutely love. He directed I'm Thinking of Ending Things quite recently, which I thought was okay. I didn't think it was that good. It was a bit disappointing, but it wasn't too bad. I was wrong. Okay, so he didn't direct Adaption or Being John Malkovich. So pretty much I've only seen like 3 of his films. Wow. All 3, I should say. I'm pretty sure he wrote those other films. I know he wrote Being John Malkovich with Spike Jonze, the brilliant Spike Jonze. Anyway, so Synecdoche, New York is, I think, his first film. It came out in 2008, and I've never heard of the film at all until YMS or YourMovieSucks.org. Some of you might. Sorry about that. Some of you might know Adam from YourMovieSucks.org. He's actually done an analyzation video about how intelligent this film is. It's like in 5 parts. That's literally the first time I've heard of this film, and I've watched it quite recently on Prime. It was free to watch. This is a film I really wanted to watch for a while, and coming off the too convoluted and confusingly disappointing I'm Thinking of Ending Things, I kind of want to see what his first film was like. Is it Anomalisa brilliant, or is it I'm Thinking of Ending Things disappointing? Well, let's find out. I'll try and explain what the film's about in the best way I can without spoiling it, I guess. It's about this man who writes plays. His name is Caden Coulthard. He's played by the late Philip Seymour Hoffman. And his life, believe it or not, is actually not as... he's doing okay, but he's not as happy or as excited as he was before. After his wife, played by Catherine Keener, and his daughter left going to Berlin. So he's now left at home, just kind of going about his everyday life, but at the same time he doesn't really feel happy or sad until he meets these other characters. Claire, played by Michelle Williams, Hazel, played by Samantha Morton. Until he meets these women, he's been trying to have a successful life while trying to write a play. At the same time, he feels like dying because of how shit and lonely his life is. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe it without going into spoilers. Because this is a deeply complex and genuinely well-written film. It's about a man. This is not an action film. It's not a superhero film. It's genuinely a very slowly paced slice of life film about a man just trying to go through his everyday life, but at the same time he doesn't really feel happy. He just kind of feels like he has to tell his story. Like, whatever happens in his life, he has to tell it in the form of a stage play, which is brilliant. The film is not necessarily a comedy. It's not a comedy, really, there are funny moments, but they're rather intended as like very light-hearted or very. It's more like character conversations and then like laugh out loud, well-written comedy. It's the film's actually just a drama, and it's a very clever drama. There were times in the film where I thought there were a few times. I'll admit it did get a little bit slow, and not to the point where I was like I couldn't follow it. I surprisingly this film was actually a lot easier to follow, and then I'm thinking of ending things. But there were a few points where I thought it did kind of drag on a little bit. But there are so many clever foreshadowings. The storytelling is really damn good, and I'm happy to see that visual storytelling is still a thing in film, especially today, especially quite recently. And this is a film that's genuinely just trying to be real. And the emotions, the solutions, the situations, everything pretty much in this film feels real. You can relate to what goes on with, I'm going to forget his name, Caden and his struggles. It's very, how do I put it? Kaufman seems to take this very slow and gentle approach when it comes to its storytelling. Granted, I can see people getting confused by it. Personally, I wasn't confused by it. I actually followed the film pretty good actually. But if you don't understand it, I'm going to have to repeat this again. Look up analyzations, and in this case there's quite a lot, because I think this film's surprisingly kind of popular amongst like film fans and critics as well. So look up analyzations and see what you think of the film and its theme. And this is kind of a sad film too when you think about it. Not because Philip Seymour Hoffman has passed away I guess 4 or 5 years after the film. He passed away in 2014, which is a bit of a shame, but there were times where I thought the film legit got really real. It got real sad, and it did make me a little uncomfortable. I can actually easily understand the character's pain and how he felt, and everyone around him just kind of, they have a bit of a negative experience with the guy, and he does kind of see other people as like objects to be with, like women, sex. And he has this condition when he tries to do it with someone, he genuinely cries because of how lonely and how unhappy his life is. There are many stages where he tries to reconnect with his wife and a daughter, yeah. And as the film goes on, I legit didn't know where it was going, and I will give any film any praise when it goes in a direction where I don't know where it's going. Even if it's a cliche done right, any film will get an instant thumbs up. I'm trying to think. How to Train Your Dragon did that well. It's rare to find a film that has a cliche done better and not following the same formula. This film kind of does it in a very brilliant, slow, calm, relatable way, and I love that. Although I think Anomalisa is better written than this, and I think Anomalisa in a way is actually easier to understand than this. The writing, the care, the emotion, the definition of what the film is going for and how arty it is, it really does pay off as something you can relate, watch, and just feel for when it comes to the life of Caden Cotart. I can't pronounce his second name correctly, but yeah, brilliantly written film, clever, metaphorical. It's beautiful. Visuals. Despite being a film from 2008, visually, it still looks like a really lovely looking film. I can tell it's 2008 because A, that's when it came out, and B, is it just me or does the film look really, really dark when we see when we see a character at a restaurant and when it's really dark? Is it me, or do you notice like some of the like the background looks very, very dark to the point where you can kind of barely see who's there? Is it me, or did The Dark Knight have that exact same thing too? I don't know. But genuinely speaking, this film, from a visual standpoint, is absolutely marvellous. Granted, it does look rather average when you first see it, but as the film goes on, it starts to look not only impressive, but it actually looks like it has an identity when it comes to its visual choice. And there are a few familiar areas, like this is like New York, and I think he did go to Germany at one point as well. I can't say anything else. Well, actually, no. When it comes to him trying to get some actors to do his play, the film also tackles the whole visual aspect of plays quite well. It looks like, genuinely speaking, especially when he goes to the big warehouse in the film, it looks like there must have been so much fun to make. I mean, granted, it would have took a lot of time. It would have been expensive to make all those like, you know, all those costumes and the buildings. It looks like a very, very expensive film, but visually admirable. The CGI makeup on Philip Seymour Hoffman as Caden, when he gets older and older, looks convincing. When a character looks old, even though they're like, what? When was Philip Seymour Hoffman? How old was he when he made the film? I know he's dead now. Oh, 1967, so... probably like in his... Oh, okay, so he died when he was 46, so he would have been like, what, 30? Something like that, 36? So you can tell that they have a good makeup artist too. Genuinely speaking, it's it may look like a very standard arty house film, but it's a very marvellous, metaphorically gorgeous and well shot film with great production and great art and great makeup. What more do you want from a film that tells its story literally and visually? Characters and acting. The characters are pretty much what I like to call being real, but at the same time being... You do kind of see a little bit of yourself in these characters. Like Caden, he's a man who writes plays, and he sounds like he's really enjoying it, but realistically, his life is not really all that good. He has a wife, but he doesn't always agree with what her opinions are. And after she goes to Berlin with their daughter, he feels very lonely, and he wants, well, might be a bit of a cliche, but he wants another woman. He wants sex. I can relate to the character very well. Not too well at a point where I agree with him, but I am a little... I'm not married, obviously. I don't have a girlfriend yet anyways, but I can really relate to what he's going through and how much pain he's getting, especially when he gets older and when he gets more sadder and starts to realise that there's nothing worth living for, hence why he wants to die. I can really see where this character's coming from, and obviously again, I'm not going to relate to everything he has in the film. Like, I'm not suicidal at all. If I was, then I probably wouldn't be here doing these videos. But I can understand why someone like him would go through something like this. It's very understandable, and if someone ever went through pain like that, then yeah, it's understandable. But there is a way you can be, you can turn your life the other way around. Other characters in the film play a very key part in Saden's life, like Adele, the Catherine Keener character, who is the wife of Caden after she leaves him. She only plays. She's not an object. She is kind of a key character. There are other characters that Caden has conversations with, and he does try to start a new life, like with Claire and Hazel. Both characters are very well written. They're played as like not Philip, sorry, Caden's like assistants. Like one is an actress and one is like a receptionist, I think. But then obviously Caden's lonely and he just wants sex. But there is more to them than just that. The daughter, whose name is Olivia. I'm gonna call her Olivia. How do you pronounce Olive? Olive. Sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, but I don't know. I think it's Olive. Well, genuinely speaking, Caden and Adele's daughter play a key role, and as the film would go on, it's got some twists in there which I didn't see coming, and it does kind of make sense when you think about it. Who else is in it? Oh, and Tom Noonan and Jennifer Jason Leigh, who both would star in the next Kaufman film, Anomalisa, are in this, and they're both. I mean, despite the fact that their roles are quite short, maybe they both play the part of their characters ridiculously well. Tom Noonan, he does play a very like bland and very average bloke well, and Jennifer Jason Leigh is a joy in this, even though she's not in it for long. Emma Watson's in this as well, and let me tell you, she is gorgeous. Genuinely speaking, the characters are very redefining. They are just like us. They're humans. They have real emotion. Oh, and the main character is very relatable. Oh, and the acting is absolutely great. Philip Seymour Hoffman, he's an absolute delight in this. The only other film I've seen him, or in this case I guess heard him in, was Mary and Max. That came out a year after Synecdoche, New York. And the guy is fantastic. He's clearly a very well respected and like very, very, very good actor. He's really funny in this at times. He's very emotional. He does play the part well. You couldn't ask for a better actor like Philip. Samantha Morrison as Hazel. She's really good. She plays it very dramatically. She plays the carefree and happy woman well. Same with Michelle Williams too. This was pre-Grey Showman and I guess Grey Showman and Venom. If I didn't say Michelle Williams like in this film, you'll probably be asking who, and I'd say Grey Showman. I'd be like, oh yeah. Catherine Keener is always good. She plays the very stressful parent well. I don't know what it is about her roles when it comes to playing parents. She played Max's mum from Where the Wild Things Are, which coincidentally also came out a year after this film. So it shows that these are very talented actors and actresses. Tom Noonan is very good also. I think he's probably my favourite actor in the film. Jennifer Jason Leigh's good, Emma Watson. Everyone does a good job, but Philip Seymour Hoffman and I think, you know what, Catherine Keener, they both give out some true performances, but it's Hoffman that does it the best because, I don't know, he just really plays the part and he actually plays it with heart, genuine, and he just plays it well. He's a delightfully charming actor. The characters are very redefining of life and personality, and even the main character you can relate to in how sad and miserable his life is, despite how good it should be. And the rest of the characters do play a supporting and key role, along with some terrific performances. These characters do feel like they are part of the life of Caden Cotard. On a side note, the score by John Byron, I think that's how you pronounce his name, isn't it? I don't know. He is the composer for this film, and it's not Carter Burwell, unfortunately. But his score is actually remarkably beautiful. There is something quite haunting and quite beautiful about his score. It sounds like something you would hear in any sort of like drama film or anything, but it's really beautiful. It really captures the life of Caden and what he's going through. It's very well orchestrated and, genuinely speaking, it's very nice to listen to. What can I say? For someone who hasn't seen the film before, I'm really glad I did. Because this is, I guess you can call it Kaufman's magnum opus. Synecdoche, New York, while I think Anomalisa is better, is still a fantastic, underrated film. It's very well written, it's emotional, it's real. It tackles a lot of struggles quite well. It's a visually marvelous looking film. The characters are very well defining, and you can relate, especially to Caden. But the rest of the characters do play a good role at times, a key role or supporting role. The acting is absolutely terrific. The score is beautiful, and Kaufman did a really excellent job making and directing the film. If you're a fan of Charlie Kaufman in terms of stuff that he's directed and wrote, you will love the film as much as like Anomalisa, and I guess I'm thinking of ending things too. If you're not really into like art house complex films, you're not going to follow this film at all. If you like the film and if you're like, again, if you don't understand it but you do like it, look up theories, look up analyzations of the film. I think there's like a lot from this film, which shows how genius and just how phenomenal it is. I wouldn't say it's like one of my personal favourites, but I can definitely say it's a film I wouldn't mind watching again. 10 out of 10, no complaints. Although I do have to question something here. How the hell did this film not get nominated at all? You'd think a film like this would get an Oscar nomination or something like that. But no, to my surprise, this film didn't get nominated at all for the Oscars, the BAFTAs, the Golden Globes, nothing. And yet the only film, to my knowledge, is Anomalisa. That's the only film that he directed that got nominated. I mean, he has been nominated for like best screenplay. Again, being John Malkovich adaptation and being John Malkovich and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind also. And this was the first film that he directed. I don't understand why it hasn't been nominated at all. It would have been nice, but at least it's a film that people can remember for how brilliant it is. So yeah, Synecdoche, New York. I'm really glad I've watched it. I legit really enjoyed it. I really loved it. So, Yeah. So next up, um, oh, I'm going to be doing another film based, I think, on a short. So what did I do? I did Nine, which was based on the 2005 Nine short by Shane Acker, and this time I'm going to do one I think it's based on the short, or it's a continuation of the short. It's called Cashback. Look out for that. I'll be doing that very soon. If you have seen the film, I would really like to know what you think about it, because it is a brilliant art house film, at least in my opinion. Do you think it's good, bad, decent? Do you want to see it? Let me know below. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Until next time, bye for now.